the channel, down under Goonr. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit me up in the comments. Let's get all that out of the way. Kicking off with my match review for Arsenal Nottingham Forest, and it's a day later. I've actually watched the games twice. It was a 9:30 in Australia, which is a rarity, but it was great to watch it where I didn't actually have to get up at 1 or 2 a.m. So that was really enjoyable. Had a few beers while watching it. And did I celebrate? Damn right I celebrated, because sometimes when it's early you might wake up the neighbours. But last night, woo! Especially with the Zubamendi goal. But anyways, we'll get into that. There's a lot of things to talk about. A lot of good things. Can't really think of a negative. But, international breaks out the way. Coming back, obviously, it's signature Arsenal. 5 minutes in? 5-10 minutes. Something like that. Was it 20? Anyways, we get an injury. No surprise. Ødegaard is fine for Norway. Absolutely fine. 90 minutes, plays well, assists, blah, blah, blah. Yep. The Arsenal curse. Bang. Injured. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Cool. Probably the only negative, because Nwaneri came on and did absolutely brilliantly. Before the game, you're thinking, and just come to Nottingham Forest. Here we go. It's gonna be one of those stories where it's like, God, he's 0-0. He wins. Blah blah blah. And he's back. But no, absolutely not. We wiped the floor with them, and they were wearing white. Are you Tottenham in disguise? No, I'm joking. I'm not here to shout all over the other team in North London. There's only one team in North London, but yeah, we'll move on. But yeah, what a game. What a game. From Mosquera at the back, coming in and being incredible. What he does with his passes and the way he's so elegant. He's got Saliba vibe about him. There's no... I haven't seen a real flaw. Even against Liverpool, he was brilliant. And he was fantastic. The whole back line were. And then obviously Nwaneri comes on and does a great job. Loses the ball early on. But I think you have to fit into a game like that. And they were obviously going to press him straight away. See how quickly he got into the game. And boy, did he. He was absolutely brilliant. There is no news online currently about the Ødegaard injury. He did carry on for a little bit. 5 odd minutes. And obviously, I guess the motion of running, you could obviously feel something in his shoulder. There's no point making it too much worse. I assume he's not going to play against Bilbao on Wednesday win the Champions League. So giving him a bit of rest and maybe even the next game might bring him on as a sub or something. So hopefully the fact he carried on a little bit, it's not too severe. And our strength in depth right now, as an Arsenal fan, I think a lot of people will agree that our strength in depth right now is sensational. But with that being said, you don't want long-term injuries, because then if your backup gets injured as well. So yeah, it's swings and roundabouts. Saka's on his way back, which every Arsenal fan will be really happy with. However, it's a shame that I also want to see Madueke on the pitch. It's a good problem to have, but it's definitely... it's a good problem to have, but it's frustrating as well, because obviously Saka starts, no question. Everyone agrees. But I'm like, God, when Madueke gets the ball, the way he attacks, the way he runs at players, you're just like, God, I want this guy to play. But what we've seen with him on the left, he's not as good as he is on the right. So, yeah, there's a bit of a good headache to have. But here we are. And Eze was absolutely brilliant. First home game, got an assist, absolutely tore the right back to shreds all game. I thought he was brilliant. I enjoyed the fact he kept coming inside. I enjoyed the overlaps we had from Calafiori. I think he's been brilliant. I think he's keeping his place for quite some time, which I feel for Lewis Skelly. But once again, that's a great problem to have. And once he doesn't play well, Lewis Skelly will fit in, and Lewis Skelly will have his chance to keep his space. And if he doesn't perform well, then we're going to need this strength and depth anyway. So yeah, it's great to see the whole team performing, and a massive shout out obviously to Eze being his first home game. I'm sure that meant a lot to him and a lot to his family. You could see he really wanted that goal. You could see him cutting on the inside quite a few times and really trying to finesse it in. I think the defense did well. They knew that. As a kind of player, he's a 10, right? Sometimes plays off the left, but he cut in a few times and really tried to whip it in, and they did defend it well. And speaking on the goal, Calafiori right now is playing the game which we're trying to adapt for Gyökeres. He's done it a few times in a few games now where they're not even pressing. We've just played the ball out from the back, and it's one hoof over the top. And then for that instance, Eze the defender judged it wrong, the pace of the ball, whatever. We don't hoof the ball like that normally. But it's such a precise pass, and then Eze's onto it, lets it bounce twice, on the bounce, straight across goal, and Goonr, I don't care if he scores 100 goals like that this season. That's what a striker does. Chicharito. That's what he did for United. Like, just be in there. We don't normally have that. There were also a few instances where Goonr didn't really know whether to make the run. Sometimes the balls weren't played well enough. So I think there's still some tweaks to do, but there are no negatives today. And we're going to have games where the teams always sit back against us. So it'll be a different game against Man City because they'll be back and forth. But yeah, a massive shout out to Eze. And then going specifically onto Madueke, because I think I need to spend some time discussing his performance, because outside of Zubimendi, and he got the 2 goals and he'll get the plaudits, because when do you see a 6 scoring 2 goals, or when do you see a 5'7", whatever he is, score a header? So yeah, he will get the plaudits, but Madueke's performance should not go under the radar. And what he did, beating the defenders, running at them, looking a threat the whole time, it was brilliant. He got to the byline quite a few times. He tried to cut it back. Sometimes it just doesn't come off, not to him. Just defenders know when you get to that line, it's cutting it back is normally what you're going to do. Sometimes it will come off, sometimes it won't. But he was brilliant today. And since moving to the club, I was an advocate. I absolutely loved him. A lot of the fan base didn't. I believe he took comments off his Instagram when he first signed, which is not a good sign. And to see the fans yesterday all getting up and applauding him, I'm so happy, and that will just drive him to do better and prove more haters wrong, even though I think he's probably done that already. And it's a great thing, because I believe when Saka comes back, people will be like, damn, it's going to be a shame for him not to be playing as much or not be seeing him too much. However, I'm sure Arteta's going to balance it well, and I'm sure Saka will get like 70 minutes every game, and then I'm sure he'll be doing the Madueke sub to bring him on for the last 20 and maybe the early Champions League stages and games like that. And we're going to need all this if we're going to have a run in every competition and win a major honour. So yeah, massive shout out to Madueke. I thought he was brilliant, and I think he deserves all the plaudits, and I hope all the fans come around and the ones who are against him eat their words. And yeah, I just massive shout out to him. And then let's go on to the midfield maestro. Let's be honest, when Real Madrid, when Liverpool's, when these sorts of teams want that player, even if you haven't watched the Spanish league or seen him before, it kind of tells you everything you need to know. I watched him a lot, and I knew, I'm not just saying this for the camera, I knew he was going to be our signing of the summer. I knew how incredible he was. He is a phenomenal player, always has been for Spain, always has been for club, and since coming to Arsenal, what he has done does not surprise me in the slightest. It surprises me he scored 2 goals. It surprised me he scored an absolute banger, and as I said, it was 9:30, so I could celebrate. My neighbours were up. I was screaming. When it's 2 a.m, it's difficult, but when it's 9:30, 10 o'clock on a Saturday, laughing. More games like that, please, Premier League, because that was good. So yeah, that was fun, and I was up, I was shouting, I was a few beers deep anyway, and I was just wow. It's mad. We haven't seen many of those. I mean, I remember the Danny Rose one. He scored for Tottenham against us, which is was a banger. It was similar, maybe a little bit further out, which was a great goal. And then there's obviously the Aaron Ramsey against Galatasaray, outside the box, ball falls, stinger into the roof of the net, and Zubimendi outside the box. What a goal! And then they try to say, a little deflection. The keeper weren't saving it. Move, man. Yeah, controlled midfield maestro. What a performance! And then obviously the header, which was epic, and I love the footage the camera got of Trossard. It was like a little dink to the back post. Just to, let's be honest, what's he doing there? What's Zubimendi doing there? He's just camera's lagging. Chill out. Hold the phone. What is Zubimendi doing there at the back post? I ain't complaining. He scored, but yeah, mad. 2 goals, man the map performance. when they celebrated, I saw one of the players give him the ball. And it was like, he was saying, get the hat trick, get the hat trick. I was hoping a pen would come at that point, and then he would take it and get a hat trick. And it would be like Marino scoring for Spain as a midfielder, getting a hat trick. Then Zubimendi back to back, getting a hat trick for Arsenal. That would have been mad. So yeah, absolutely incredible. I'm going to stop this because I don't know why it's doing the stupid thing. All right, we're back. The camera on my side was doing some mad lagging thing, but then I watched it back and then it's fine. So we're good. We're back. And what was I saying before I was rudely interrupted by my computer? Zubimendi, yeah. What's he doing at the back post? Why are you there? What are you doing? Slow your roll, bro. Sit back. Chill out. Let one of the other man take it. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was jokes, great goal. So yeah, happy for him. And then the celebration was funny. I can't remember who gave him the ball, but shoved it in his chest. I think it was like a sign to be like, get the hat trick. This is your match ball. And that would have been quite comedy if Marino did it for Spain, and then Zubimendi did it for Arsenal, both playing in the midfield position, which you don't see often. So yeah, massive shout out. And I'll caveat that by saying I'm glad Goonr got the goal, because I could already see the narratives being written. If he didn't, you bought this striker, you got to rely on your midfield, blah, 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 all this and that. So yeah, all round great performance.